everyone, welcome to Nature Studies. Today we're going to be talking about decomposers. A decomposer is something that feeds on organic material that is either dead or decaying. Organic materials are things you would find out in nature that are organic, that happen naturally. Things like you, plants, animals. Decomposers are really important in the ecosystem. They kind of act as like a janitor, cleaning up all of the dead things or any waste that animals or plants or people produce. A decomposer will feed on the dead, decaying organic material, like poop. When a tree dies, not only one decomposer helps to decompose it, all of them will work together. It's like a group effort. Have you ever wondered why when you're walking through the forest, there isn't a bunch of like poop and dead animals all over the place? You can thank decomposers for that. The decomposers go out and they find all that organic material and they feed on it. There are 5 main types of decomposers that we're going to talk about in today's video. Fungus, earthworms, bacteria, isopods, and insects. My personal favorite decomposer is the mushroom, just because I like to eat them. And also, they're really cool. Mushrooms are part of the kingdom fungi, and they're a fungus. They are not a plant. They're quite different from plants. Fungus live directly on their food, and they gather their nutrients by sucking it out of the food that they're living on. When you look at a mushroom, like that you can buy at the store and you can fry up in your food, you may or may not like them. I love them. But when you look at that part of the mushroom, that's actually not the organism. That's just the fruiting body of the organism. So it's like that is the apple that comes off of the tree. The rest of the organism lives under the soil in a large network called mycelium. One mushroom can be growing at one end of your yard, and 20 feet on the other end of your yard, there could be another mushroom. Those 2 mushrooms could be part of the same organism. Some mushrooms can even stretch for miles. Mushrooms will grow directly on their food. So sometimes when you're out in the woods, you might see a fallen tree that has mushrooms growing on it. Those mushrooms are helping to decompose the wood in that tree. One thing that I like to do is I like to go out and forage for mushrooms. It can be very dangerous to go out and find mushrooms on your own, so make sure you have an adult with you who knows for sure that that mushroom is edible. The majority of mushrooms are actually very poisonous to humans. Another decomposer is the earthworm. Earthworms eat dead and decaying material inside of the dirt, and when they eat it, it goes through their body, and what they excrete is really rich in nutrients, and it really helps with plants. So if you have a garden, you want to have earthworms in your soil. By moving through it and eating the organic material and causing little tunnels that help aerate the soil and help your plants be able to grow. Insects are another decomposer. Have you ever been around a dumpster and seen a bunch of flies flying around? That's because those flies are helping decompose the garbage inside that dumpster. The flies are attracted to the decaying smell of our fruits and vegetables and meats that we throw away. These flies will eat that organic material, helping it to decompose. Oftentimes, flies will lay their eggs on trash so that whenever those eggs hatch, they're able to eat right away. Not all insects are decomposers. Some insects are also consumers, like crickets. Another decomposer that you don't often think about is bacteria. Bacteria is very, very small. We can't see it with just our eyes. We need to use microscopes so we can look at the different bacterias. Bacteria is actually the first step in decomposition. When a plant or an animal dies, it's still fresh. So the bacteria like that fresh environment. They like the moisture that is inside of whatever it is decomposing. Once the moisture is gone, that's when other decomposers come in, like mushrooms, fungus, and insects. Isopods. They're tiny crustaceans, like pill bugs. Most people think that they're insects because you can see them in your yard. And most people don't think that they would find a crustacean in their yard. But isopods are in fact crustaceans. And an example of an isopod that I know all of you have seen is a pillbug or a roly-poly, whichever you call it. Isopods specialize in eating things like leaves and waste from other animals, so isopods eat a lot of poop. All of these decomposers produce waste, but their waste is actually really high in nutrients. So when their waste goes into our soil, it helps things like plants grow so that our cycle of the food chain can start all over again. The waste that all of these decomposers produce is added to the soil, which help our producers grow. For this week in your journal, you can add decomposers to that food chain that you made. So what you can do is at the end, you can add your decomposer and draw a little line that goes back to your producers. If you would like to find some decomposers in your own backyard, you could easily find isopods. The easiest way to do this is to find a rock or some type of log or something that's just sitting on the ground, and maybe ask a parent for help if it's heavy and lift it up, and underneath it you'll most likely find some isopods. I went out into my backyard searching for some decomposers, and I'm going to add those clips now. In this clip, I found some sticks and I lifted them up to try to find anything. I didn't find anything under these ones. In this clip, I found this large stone in my yard and I lifted it up to look underneath. And I found some pill bugs. That one's rolled up. This pill bug was a little happy guy. He was walking all around, looking for things to eat. What I found here was a ginormous nest of ants. Ants are not decomposers. Ants are consumers. But I still thought it was really cool. Look at how many there are. They're crazy. So that's all for our consumers, producers, and decomposers lessons. Next week we'll have something brand new. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next week.